Another day, another farmhouse challenge for Cronkervoddy Central, this time from Sarah and Kev Coole, who farm down at Ballaquinney, or up at Ballaquinney, Ronague, in any case. Beautiful part of the island. They sent some photos. It looks like it's in the tropics. I think they might actually be tropical farmers who just sneak over here at weekends. Either way, they farm beef and they do some potatoes, so their recipe is barbecue beef brisket with homemade chips and mayonnaise. Yeah, so a 3-part recipe. It was going to be ribs, I think Sarah says, but they couldn't get that, so it was going to be brisket from the wonderful Radcliffe Butchers down in Castletown. I think everyone knows Radcliffe's. We're so lucky on the island to have some great butchers all over the place. Wherever you are, you're never far from a good local butcher, so use them. That's my advice. I see the hair's getting a bit longer. If this carries on lockdown much longer, it's going to be like sort of cooking with cousin It from the Munsters of the Addams Family or whatever it was. Anyway, barbecue, beef brisket, chunky chips and mayonnaise. So for that, the most important thing is beef brisket, which I have in the fridge. Okay, so here we go. Look at that. Beautiful beef brisket, beautiful kind of meat. Now then, of course, the question is always the most important question. Look at that. Isle of Man, we know it's from the Isle of Man. Do you leave the net on or do you take the net off? It's the elephant in the room, isn't it? What everyone asks when you're cooking brisket. I asked Sarah what she does. I've cooked it both ways. I think the net obviously keeps it together, but she says for this recipe, she takes the net off. Yes, I wash my hands. Yeah. So I'm going to take the net off as she suggests. We're going to flatten it out, and we're going to start off with this by trimming fat off if needs be. I don't think there's a lot on this. It looks a lovely piece of brisket. We're going to season it up, and then we're going to brown it and add some vegetables. So what else have we got in our beef brisket? We have some celery. It's a nice celery, a nice stick of celery here. We're making some lovely tomatoes there as well. We're going to be using an onion to flavour up the meat. So we're going to be doing a long, slow roast of the beef again, 4 hours or so, in the bottom of the old, yep, you've guessed it, the trusty Arga. Hasn't gone out yet. Bound to sooner or later. Anyway, shouldn't tempt fate. So it's going to be seasoning up, browning it up, going in there, and they're going to be making a lovely homemade barbecue sauce using a bit of this stuff. Wonderful smoked paprika. Add that to sort of sauces. You always get that lovely smoky barbecue flavour. Great stuff. Wonderful. And then we're going to be making some great chips, nice chunky homemade chips with, says Sarah, they love to have it with homemade mayonnaise. Yeah. Some of us cheat and use the stuff out of a jar, I know, but this is going to be proper homemade mayonnaise, so we're praying it doesn't split. Using a bit of the old Dijon mustard, some white vine vinegar, of course, some delicious local eggs, as per, and, of course, the terrific Ellerslie rapeseed oil, which Sarah likes to cook with. Great with the chips as well. You use the mayonnaise. It's just got a beautiful flavour, lovely local stuff, and just look at that colour. Look at that colour. Liquid gold, isn't it? Terrific stuff. So, I had better get cracking, and I've got to make some chips as well, and they have supplied some potatoes. So the real question is 7.5 kilos of potatoes enough chips for 2? Answers on your postcard. Let's get going. So, there we go. We've got everything. We've got the beef seasoned up, browned off, celery, tomatoes, garlic, all that to the pan. Some lovely beef stock as well. Bubble that up a little bit so it's bubbling nicely now. And we can now whack it into the bottom oven on the Arga. 3-4 hours. We'll keep an eye on it a little bit. Whack the lid on. Let it hiss to itself for a minute. Open the bottom oven. And then we can just let it do its own stuff. Do you want to see it? Do you want to take a look before it goes in? May as well, mightn't you? There you go. So there it goes. Yay. Whoop. It's usually that whale. Hissing a whale, better take it off before it spits all over the Arga. Okay, so that's going on the bottom oven. So fingers crossed. Trusty gloves on. And away we go. That can go in the garden. So, onto the mayonnaise. I've measured out some of the beautiful Ellerslie oil. I must stop saying beautiful, but it is beautiful, golden, lovely. Great taste, local product. Pick me another word, I'll think of one next week. And some, I wouldn't say beautiful, but great fresh local eggs. We just need the egg yolk, so we need to separate one. Not something I've always been very good at. I've been trying the hand method of late, dispensing with those little gadgets or doing the shell-to-shell thing, so just taking it through the fingers. So let's see if that works. So just cracking it open into the hand, and yay! Take the beautiful yolk in the palm of the hand, that goes to the fingers, yolk separated. I'll mark that down as a success. Yeah, so we've got our beautiful Manx eggs here. Gorgeous. I'll try not to tip them over the top. As you can see, I'm cheating using the old food processor method. I think Sarah does it all by hand, which is very impressive. I have done it that way, but I'd get bored and you get bored watching. Hopefully this will be faster and it might not split. So we'll see what happens. Eggs go in. So we've got our eggs yolks, marvellous eggs in. A bit of Dijon mustard. You don't have to use that, but it gives it some lovely flavour as well. Goes in like that. Lid on. It's got to be noisy, so, you know, fingers in ears if you want. And just, I'll put some subtitles on or something. Okay, so we want our oil. Slow drizzle. Going. Hopefully we'll end up with mayonnaise. Should have been again, we're in. I'll save you all of it. So as I was saying, when it comes to making mayonnaise, the old ways, always the best. Don't be messing around with modern blimmin' food process. It's a waste of time. Get your trusty grandma's whisk out, nice bowl, and a little bit of oil in at a time. Never fails. Looking good. So it's time for some really nice oven chips. Just giving the potatoes a quick whiz, says Sarah, just to soften them up so they're like a cross between a roasty and a chip. Healthier for you than chippy chips in the deep fat fryer, of course, because they're just going to be in a small amount of wonderful Ellerslie oil. So really good meaty rapeseedy flavour to them. So just soften them up a little bit and so they go crispy on the outside, hopefully. Done in the oven. Warm up some oil here until it's smoking. Smoking. Then we're going to whack these in. Spread them out a bit and we'll get them into the oven. In one layer, hopefully. That's the plan, at least. But you know what it is. You always do too many chips, don't you? And I will always do too many chips. So anyway, yeah, I think I've just about got them right. Close enough. I'll spread them out a bit more. That's going to be pretty good. Further down that. Lovely. Great. Quick coating of some Ellerslie oil on the top, like so. Sprinkle of salt, and then they are going back in. Yay. Into the oven. And we should be in business. Job boxed. Well, I say that all the time. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Still need a haircut. Yeah. No wonder the chips took so long. Yeah, as I thought. The auger's gone out. Trusty auger, my... So, I think we're about there. We have the brisket, been resting up. I think the chippy should be ready. Should we take a look? Oven chips. Thick, proper oven chips. Made with wonderful Ellerslie rapeseed oil. And they look all right to me. What do you reckon? Chip? Hot. Hot. Crunchy. Very good. Wonderful brisket. Ballaquinney beef. Shall we take a slice of this? Looks pretty good.
Mabel thinks so.
I think so. Mabel Cat thinks so. It's always a good sign. Look at that. Pull into pieces so it's beautifully tender. Get a couple of pieces like that on the plate. A couple of chips perhaps. Find something to get those with. We'll get a few chips onto the plate, like so. Serve with the salad. Tell you what, I was going to get the mayonnaise. Marvellous. Look at that colour. So this is beautiful homemade mayonnaise with that great rapeseed oil again, fresh Manx eggs. Use your mum's old whisk. Do it by hand, of course. Never use a machine. It's bound to go wrong. And you can dip your chips in these. Delicious. And finally, a bit of barbecue sauce over the meat. What's not to like? Ballaquinney, Sarah and Kev, thank you very much. Beautiful beef, beautiful chips. Great Manx produce again. And what a great meal. Tasty, delicious. You can whack it in, go out in the garden, and make sure you use a proper old-fashioned whisk. Top tip, always say that.